In this version of Ring of Fire, I'll teach you the intro on the banjo. We're going to be playing up the neck. I'll have some simple ways for a complete beginner that you can play through this, but also some slightly more advanced and intermediate stuff where we will add in some double stops, some more complex timing, roll patterns, and even a bit of authentic Scruggs vocabulary up the neck. I'll do a playthrough here in a second, and I'll go through all the different levels of difficulty one at a time, starting with that simple single note melody all the way up to adding in double stops and the different roll patterns and Scruggs vocabulary. Stay tuned. After the playthrough, I'll go through a lesson talking about all the different components, ways to practice it better and play it smoother. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 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 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 'If you have trouble getting the timing down by ear and by watching the playthrough, check out the down the neck version. of the intro for Ring of Fire that I made. There will be some more in-depth advice on the timing and the roll patterns, and it's going to be very similar, so it'll be really give you good perspective to learn this intro down the neck and up the neck. All right, let's talk about how to play all the different pieces that I did in this example for the intro of Ring of Fire. Let's start with the single notes, just the bare bones melody here. It's all on the first string, and I'm going to encourage you to use your ring finger, especially if you plan on doing this with double stops later, because that finger will stay there on the first string. The ring finger will whenever we're doing double stops. Okay, so we're going to go 12, 14, 10, and then back to 12. That's for the first phrase. 12, 14, 10, 12, right? For the timing of this, refer to the playthrough. Just listen a bunch. You'll start to get it, and as I said, there's more in-depth advice for the timing in the down the neck version of this that I made. The second phrase, we're going to go down here to the 9th fret, 10th fret, 7th fret, back to the 9th, right? So it's important to just first get the right notes in the right order. After you can start making those clearly, then start adding in the correct timing. For a lot of beginners, I noticed that just keeping the melody on one string is more simple, even if you're having to shift more. But another option here is we can do a partial double stop shape. So we go 12th fret, and then we go to 14th. But instead of dropping back to the 10th, we're going to play that same note. They're at the 13th fret of the second string, and we're going to pick it with our index finger. And then we're just going to come back to 12. And you may notice this little double stop is kind of the same shape that we see in our basic C major chord. All right, for the second phrase, we're going to start again at the 9th fret. And then we're going to go to the 10th, but instead of shifting back to the 7th, we're going to get that same note on the 10th fret of the second string, and we'll pick it with our index finger. Come back to the 9th fret there. Right, so just an optional way to play that single note melody. If you're not planning on doing double stops, you can use any finger to fret the single note melody. Middle or index will be fine. All right, now let's talk about the double stops. As I said, the ring finger is going to be at the same place as it was in the single note melody for when we do the double stops. We're just going to be adding in a note on the second string each time. So for this first note in the first phrase, we've got the middle finger now is added in on the 12th fret. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to prepare this first finger. It's down on the second string behind the middle finger. It's not going to be making a note because the middle finger's down. But when I shift up, I'm going to let off lightly so I don't get a sliding sound. But when I shift up and go to this next note in the melody, it's going to be ready because we're going to be playing that first finger note there at the 13th fret of the second string. Okay, so first double stop in the first phrase, the second, and then we're going to shift back to the 10th fret, that ring finger's there again, and we're going to add the middle finger right above it. And then we're going to come back home here to the 12th fret. Right, so we've got these two different shapes, one that has the ring finger on the first string and the middle finger right above it, and we're going to use that here at the 10th and 12th. And then when we go up to the 14th, we're going to lift that middle finger to use that first finger on the second string at the 13th fret. And these are the main double stop shapes we'll use throughout this whole thing. Right? For the second phrase, we're going to start with this shape here. Ring finger is at the 9th fret. We're going to shift forward to the 10th and do the double stop shape that's got both fingers above, or the middle finger above the ring. Back to the 7th, same double stop shape. And then we're back here to this one that's got the ring finger at the 9th fret and the first finger at the 8th fret of the second string. right? We want to have these knuckles nice and curled. I like to have my thumb over the top, sort of on its side a little bit, and palm off of the back of the neck. You can totally use this more traditional classical guitar posture as well with the thumb behind the neck. That works great. Again, for the timing, refer to the playthrough. Listen, listen, listen. Listen to the playthrough that I did and listen to the original. If you listen enough, you'll start to hum it, you'll start to sing it, you'll maybe start to tap it out. That's great. You're starting to understand the rhythm by ear. And eventually, if you can make these shapes well enough and fret the notes well, you will be able to play this with the proper timing. But again, if you want more advice on that and how to count it, check out the down the neck version. So that's for the main melody, but when I do these lead-ins, there's something else that's happening, and this is something that I did in the intro that you might like. I'm adding a little chromatic walk. So I'm starting at this shape here, going to the 10th fret with the middle finger above the ring, and then I'm adding this one in between. It's a lot of tension, but it leads really nicely into this 12th fret one. Right, really great sound. And then we just start the riff from there. And you could hear even before I did this shape, I'm adding in a quick 5th string note, and that's a typical way to kind of kick off a tune. Something else to consider when doing these double stops is your tone. You may have noticed in the intro, like I'm shifting my pick hand around from closer to the bridge to closer to the neck, and it yields a really different tone. Right, and so I'm just playing with that. Like using it as contrast. At one phrase, I might be near the bridge. Right, at another phrase near the neck. It kind of accentuates the two different phrases, almost like a call and response. But you can use these tonal colors to paint it however you want. If you like the sweet sound, just stay up there near the neck. Right? And that's what we're varying. It's called the point of attack, and that's where you pick. Another quick note about your tone, and there's more about this in the down the neck version, but make sure your hand isn't too scrunched up. If we can get the hand a little bit higher and get some of the pick motion to come from these knuckles, it's going to usually create a little bit of stronger tone than if it's just coming from these little knuckles down here. Right? When your hand's too scrunched down, usually you'll end up with a little bit more tension, and having the hand higher usually will allow these joints to act as a little bit more like a shock absorber and just get a little bit smoother motion that yields just a little bit better tone. And something that helps with speed is playing on the tips instead of having them really deep in there, and it will also reduce some of your pick noise. Another component we're using here, string dampening. So I'm getting a little bit of excess noise even after I let off the string. That's just part of the banjo. We get some sympathetic vibration, right? But it sounds a lot different if I just leave the fingers down than if I let them up and dampen the strings. Right? So if we do that in context, it sounds really cool and accentuates the syncopated or complex rhythm that we have in this phrase. Right? It sounds a lot different if I hold it down. Not as fun, not as funky. A good exercise to work on dampening, and you can do this with just one note, or you can do it and practice your double stops. It doesn't matter. If I'm doing it with just one note, we're going to pick on beat 1, and we're going to count to 4 and let off on beat 3. But don't let your finger come out of contact with the string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, release, 4. Right? Do it with double stops. 1, 2, release, 4. 1, 2, release. And again, fingers are staying, they're touching the string when I release the pressure. And so this is a good way to start to develop control. Eventually you do want to be able to speed up your count, and just speed up and be able to lift off really quickly, but without the fingers coming off of the string. And when you start to add it into the double stops, what you'll end up with is you'll end up dampening after the first attack, and then after the next two. So I'm letting off a total of 3 times there. There, there, and there. I'm going to play this over and over really slow so you get a chance to practice it with me. And I'm just going to do the syncopated part. So it's going to be like da 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 da, kind of over and over, because that's the hard part. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you have the basic melody or the double stops and your timing additions, you can start to add in the rolls that we talked about more in depth in the down the neck version. If you're just doing the melody, it's going to be best if we can add at least one double stop whenever you're adding in the rolls. Right, so we'll need this double stop shape with the ring finger at the 12th and the middle finger also at the 12th of the second string. And this double stop shape where we've got the ring on the 9th of the first and the index on the 8th fret of the second. You could do it with open strings. It just sounds a little bit weird with the when you leave the first finger on the second string, especially because we have this note that's so high up the neck. It's not super bad. A better option might be to do the roll where the index finger stays on the 3rd string. Actually a pretty good substitution there. Now if you're doing the Foggy Mountain roll, you need to be able to do the double stops. It's just going to sound really weird otherwise. It's possible to do it with that open 3rd string, but I feel like that's more of an advanced thing. So leave the Foggy Mountain roll alone unless you have those double stops down. That's my advice. All right, I'm going to take you through this double stop scale as quick as I can. We're playing the 2nd string and 1st string open, picking with our index and middle fingers. Then we're doing this little piece of a C chord here. 1st finger, 1st fret of the 2nd string, and the ring finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. All right, slide that forward 2 frets, and then slide forward 1 fret and put the middle finger above the ring finger. So the middle's now on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. I'm leaving that 1st finger down. It's prepared for any time I need to go back to that other shape. But right now we're going to go forward 2 frets and keep the same shape. Notice I had to lift my thumb when I went past the 5th string tuner there. That's just part of the playing the banjo. You'll get used to it, and you can do an exercise like that to practice. All right, so here at the 7th fret with this double stop shape that's got both fingers above one another, go forward 2 frets and lift. Right? Now we're to this little shape that's similar to the C chord there. We're going to go forward 1 fret, and then we got this shape. Go forward 2, go forward 2 frets. Now we're an octave up, so it's these same notes, but just higher, right? C and E, really high C and E. And then the same pattern appears. We're going to go forward 2 frets, go forward 1, different shape, go forward 2, different shape, go forward 2, and that different shape, and that completes it. So that whole scale is good to know, and you can practice going through it. It'll sound really pretty. You can even practice rolling through it, maybe doing the Foggy Mountain Roll. And you could go all the way up and down, all the way up and down it just to get familiar with these notes in the key of G major on the banjo. But for the Ring of Fire, we're really only using 5 of these shapes. Yeah, so we've got this shape here at the 7th fret. This different shape here, we're at the 8th and 9th. Then we got the 10th and 12th. And this one here at the 14th and 13th. And that's it. A few of the extras that I added in here, whenever I'm adding in the forward roll, let's see, so when I'm up here at the 12th fret, start doing that extended forward roll, but the second time you go thumb, index, middle, I'm going to reach that pinky out and get this 14th fret note. And then I just let it off for the next 2 and finish out the roll. And then go to the next part. So that's a real easy add-in. The roll's not changing at all. We're just letting that pinky go down for 1 note in the roll and then letting off it for the next 2 passes of that thumb, index, middle within the roll pattern. The other one I'm adding in is very similar to that when we're at the 2nd phrase. So again, doing that extended forward roll, and every other time I'm putting my pinky down here at the 11th and adding a little bend. Okay, that's a very typical up the neck Scruggs vocabulary that he uses in songs like Sally Gooden and Cumberland Gap. If that is too hard to reach out, and it's definitely hard, if you haven't been playing a while, you've got to really have a good handle on your posture, just play at the 10th fret and don't add a bend. But again, I'm adding it every other time I do thumb, index, middle in the roll. Sounds really, really good that way. Very pretty, very kind of major melodic sound. That about wraps it up. So if you're a beginner and you're just working on this single note melody, play that the whole time through the playthrough. Like even when it gets into the more advanced stuff, just keep playing. That simple melody, even as it gets more complex, it's going to give you really good practice on your timing and on fretting the notes. And the same thing goes, like if you get to the next level past that, where you add in just that little bit of extra timing, do that the whole time, right? You get a lot of practice, and as you progress through these levels, just do those a bunch. And when you start to try to learn a new piece, try to focus on just that piece at a time. Like you might need to focus on just making the double stops, but not worrying about your timing. That's hard enough, like, right? Especially if this is something new to you. You don't want to try to combine, learning new fingerings for these partial chords and the timing. It's going to get frustrating and overwhelming. So you've sort of got to tackle a piece or a component at a time. Like I said, at first it might just be the right notes in the right order and getting them clear, taking as much time as you need. And you'll need to do repetitions like that, right? You can't just jump right into the timing. You got to make sure you can switch between them all very well first before you start to add the timing in. All right, so some good next steps. Since we're playing some up the neck banjo, it would be great to learn some classic Scruggs style up the neck banjo tunes. So Sally Gooden, Cumberland Gap, Foggy Mountain Special, that's one of my favorites. It's so fun. We've got all of those available on TuneFox, so please pop over there and give us a try. All right, I hope you all really enjoyed this one. If you want to learn some more about Ring of Fire, maybe just like some rolling backup throughout the whole song or something like that, I'd be happy to dive more into this tune. It's a very cool, very interesting classic country song. All right, that wraps it up. Keep picking and stay tuned.